What is going on YouTube? My name is Nevin the Barber, and in today's video we are going to be covering a mid-drop razor fade. And we are going to be doing this today on my little brother. He is lucky because this dude be getting fresh cuts every week. So shout out to my little brother. We're going to begin right away by clipping up his hair and combing his hair down. I am using my Barber Nova metal comb and clips. If you guys would want to purchase any of these accessories, feel free to use my code NEVIN10. So after we got all the hair laying down, we're going to get right into the haircut today. We're going to be putting in our first bald line about an inch above my brother's ear, dropping it in the back. I am using my gamma hitters to put in this first guideline. And I'm not going to take off all the bulk just so we could do a razor shave on them. So I'm just marking in my first line, giving myself a little bit of room to work with before I start fading into the hair. And I am going against the grain with this first guideline just to ensure that the hair is cut down to the shortest length. So before I get into the fade, I'm just going to mark my client's C-cup. And now that we have that done, we can get into our first initial guideline in this fade. I'm going to be taking my first guideline up about a ½ inch thick with my lever all the way open. And when you guys do this, you want to make sure you keep a very consistent cutting stroke all the way throughout the scalp, ensuring that all the hair is being cut down at the same length. And I do have a PDR fade blade on my clippers. If you guys are interested in getting this fade blade, I'll be sure to include the link in the description. And now I have my Andis Masters with the half guard all the way open. So this is going to be cutting the hair at a number 1 length. And we are taking this guideline about another ½ inch above our previous section. And this fading method right here is a little bit easier in my opinion because you can knock out your skin line at the end. Simply using the corner of my blade, again taking this side up about ½ an inch above my previous guideline. And after we have that done, we're just going to begin knocking down some bulk. So I have my number 3 guard all the way open, cutting the hair against the grain, making sure I knock down all those little flyaways. And this is very important, so when your client looks at their haircut, there's no little baby flyaways coming out from the side of their scalp. So I'll begin flicking up out at the parietal ridge all the way around the scalp. And now to blend out that first line that we created with our lever all the way open, I went back to my Wahl seniors with my half guard. And we're just going to begin doing some lever play, starting with the lever all the way open, flicking out at that guideline. And remember that when you guys close your lever, it's very important to shorten your cutting stroke. So very easily, you guys can see that this line is starting to fade away. I'm just using the corner of my clipper, detailing out any dark areas that I notice. And now we're going to knock out our bottom line with the lever all the way closed, just doing some more lever play. So I'm going to begin using the corner of my blade, flicking out my bald line. And when you guys do this, you want to make sure you keep a very short cutting stroke all the way throughout the scalp. And as you guys can see, the bottom line is coming out very easily. And after you have your bottom line faded out on both sides, you can begin opening your lever, blending the rest of the fade into the hair. And when we have our fade complete, we're going to get into the lineup. I'm combing down all the hair. To get right into the lineup, I'm using my gamma hitters with the P3 blade. This modified blade is very sharp. I do highly recommend it. You can get it at eversense.com. And whenever I do my lineups, I do always like to start in the middle, just to ensure I can get the straightest line possible from left to right or right to left, whatever you prefer. And after you have that first line put in, we can get straight into the box. And whenever I do my box, I keep it natural as possible, simply just tapping at the natural hairline and pulling away. And one simple quick hack to do this is just try to aim for a 90-degree angle. You can then hit it with your razor just to get it a little bit sharper. Whenever doing this, it's important to first hit the line up with the grain and then go back against it to give it the sharpest look. And as always, when using the razor, it's very important to keep constant tension on the skin. And here I'm just cleaning up his eyebrows. And a lot of my clients do like to get their eyebrows lined up, so if you guys want to offer this service, you can charge an extra $5 or $10 for it. And same thing, just to nick down all the little baby hairs on the bottom of the eyebrow, you want to stretch the skin, applying very light pressure, keeping your razor at a 30-degree angle. Tapping very lightly, keeping my razor at a 30-degree angle. And as you guys can see, it's coming out very sharp. It's very important to knock down all the little baby vellus hairs that you can't see. And whoo, as you guys can tell, I put my boy's hair on fire. So we're gonna get right into the razor fade now, applying some shaving gel. And whenever doing this, you can never apply too much gel. It's very important that you apply enough. Here, just applying a towel over the cape so I can wipe down all the hairs being cut. So keeping constant tension on the skin, simply bringing the razor down with the grain of the hair. And you guys want to make sure you're using a pretty sharp blade when doing this. As you guys can see, I was able to cut through this bulk pretty easily. If y'all would like to purchase these Persona blades, you can get them on Amazon. Whenever I do a razor shave like this, I always double check my client's scalp just to ensure that there's no little indentions that I didn't notice or pimples popping out. You guys have to make sure to do this because if not, it's very easy to nick or cut your client. So again, just double check and make sure that you're aware of what you're going to be cutting before you run the razor through the hair. And when doing this, just be very patient with it. There's no need to rush a razor shave. It's very relaxing for your client. So if you want to give your client a more luxurious, relaxing service, just offer them a razor shave and I'm sure they might like it a little more. And with this method too, I personally like it a lot just because you won't find yourself struggling throughout the middle of the fade to knock out your skin line. As you guys saw throughout the video, I marked my first line and just went right into the fade. So when you guys do that, you can just razor down the rest of the bulk and afterwards just bald it out and detail your cut and you should be good to go. So we're going to repeat the same steps on the other side, applying constant tension, keeping my blade at a 30-degree angle. And as you guys can see, that hair is just falling off like butter. If you guys want to try this method, give it a go. Just make sure you use enough shaving gel and perform a correct scalp analysis before you use the razor on them. And if there's any beginner barbers out there that want to learn how to use the razor but are not too experienced with it, one good way that I learned is by blowing up balloons and just applying shaving cream on it. And if you guys can take off all the shaving cream without popping the balloon, that's considered a good shave. And if you did pop the balloon, just consider that a nick. But anyways, if you guys want to try that, that's what helped me get a little more better with the razor. And now that our fade is looking complete with all the bulk off, we're just going to go back and detail the rest of our haircut. Right here I have my red Barber Nova Japanese styling thinning shears. If you guys would like to purchase them, feel free to use my code NEVIN10. They have tons of styles on their page and different accessories if you guys would like to check them out. And with this method right here, I'm just doing some shear over comb, detailing out any last dark areas I see. And it's the little details like these that take your haircuts to the next level. So you guys always want to make sure that you go back and detail and refine your work, just to make sure your client gets the cleanest cut possible, and just so they can leave that chair feeling fresh as possible. And again, even when I do perform a razor shave, I always go back with my electric shaver just to pull out any last stubble that I didn't get with the razor. Again too, I went back and detailed my fade with the half guard just to polish out any dark areas and disperse out any dark areas that I notice in the fade. And one thing to remember when you guys are cutting hair, the majority of the fade happens from the skin to the 1.5. So it's very important to go back, ensuring that everything is blended out within those guidelines. I always like to go back and detail my work, just to run through my guards and go through my system again, knocking down any last little dark areas that may be present within the haircut. And if you guys apply this same system on any other haircut, you will get the same results. Just make sure to be consistent with your guidelines and your cutting stroke as you close the lever. Here I have my gamma hitters. I just turned the clipper around so that I could cut the hair a little bit closer to the scalp. And I do have these zero gapped, so I was able to knock out my bottom skin line very, very easily. Again, with the lineup, just ensuring that I can get it sharp as possible. And now that we have all our details complete, that is about it for today's mid-drop razor fade. If you guys learned anything, I would highly appreciate your feedback. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new to my channel. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. If you would like to see another tutorial, please drop it in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.